Great. So, a warm welcome to one another powerful session, especially for the most precious citizens of our life, of members of our life, the 60 plus. Yes, great. The most energetic, the most uh, powerful, the most influential, the most vibrant community, uh, not only in the society but also in our families. Our role models, and today we will be deep diving into the topic very soon. But before that, let me give you a brief introduction about who's organizing all of these sessions and what is the purpose behind the session. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible, and yes, great, thank you for that. So yes, life doesn't stop at 60, it only gets meaningful, it only gets more flavorful and vibrant. And अभी तो पिक्चर बाकी है, थोड़ा नहीं बहुत मेरे दोस्तों. So the joy of new beginnings is what we will be discussing today with Dr. Zahra Merchant. And hi, I am Aziel Marquis, your host and host for today's session. Um, also the national president of WICCI Equitable Parenting Council and a founder of GPS for Parents. So what is this WICCI? And today's session is organized by WICCI Equitable Parenting Council. So let me take a moment to explain what WICCI is and what do we do in the Equitable Parenting Council. So WICCI stands for Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It is a non-political, a non-religious, and a voluntary organization led or founded by Dr. Harbi Narora Rai. She is a global leader, obviously with the Indian roots. And the main purpose of WICCI is to get all the learned women, all the powerful women of the society together to uplift other women and men, children, everyone together, right? So it's about getting all the women together on one platform where our expertise is used for the betterment of the society. Our particular council, there are n number of councils in WICCI focusing on manufacturing, engineering, health. Ours in particular focuses on the equitable parenting, and that's why the name Equitable Parenting Council, where we try to get both the mothers and the fathers onto the same platform to bring about equity in the family, in the way the bonding happens at home and on, right? And as an for this vision to get to like work on this vision, we have a beautiful team who's on voluntary basis have come together to support the parenting field in India and globally. And they are our council members, and we also have state councils. So there are two levels of councils for Equitable Parenting Council. One is the national, the second is other states. So we have Krishna from Jharkhand state. She heads the Jharkhand state WICCI and the like. So let me take us introduce our council members. Our superstar, Dr. Harmina Rivera, right? Founder of WICCI. This is me, Aziel Marcos. And actual right club. as you have seen, we have council members right from the counseling field, education, medical, legal, financial, grooming, and all the possible fields. And we are still growing to get more and have more and more council members, either at national or the state, in order to help the parenting fraternity. Okay, so this is my beautiful team, because of which we are able to do n number of sessions. And let me tell you, we just started 2 years back. Okay, uh, we just started 2 years back, and in these 2 years we have done almost 90 sessions, either online or physical, on very topics, right from parent child bonding, on health, on prevention of suicides. And now, from last month onwards, we are focusing on a theme for the elderly. And as you see on your screen, we have done a good number of sessions so far. We have just got started, right from Dr. Manjula doing a session on age with grace, then managing money by CA, Dr. CA Purva Jain, requesting everyone to keep yourself on mute for a moment. And then we had a session on elder abuse by Advocate Aileen, then on menopause by Dr. Shravana, waste management, eye health, physiotherapy, and just a couple of days back, we did a session on dementia and Alzheimer on the occasion of World Alzheimer's Day. And yes, today we have gathered here to have another important session. Why is it important? Because quite often we feel that after retirement, everything stops, or it halts, or it takes a back seat. I'll just tell you one recent incident, that like a conversation that I had with a teacher who recently retired, I think a year back, and she didn't really know what to do. A family is gone, like she has a daughter, she goes to work, no one in the family to talk. Her life revolved around a family and school. School is shut because she's retired, she can't go back. And family, there's no one throughout the day, so she's alone. So even though she is a Sanskrit teacher, so even though having that kind of a expertise and skill set, yet there are many who find there's a kind of vacuum that is created after a particular period, maybe because of retirement, because of physical health, or because of financial constraints, or the abuse one goes through. It could be anything and everything, right? And that's what today's session is all about, where we will be discussing different aspects of 60 plus. It's not only for 60 plus, actually it's for all of us, because somewhere we start questioning our existence, somewhere we start questioning, what am I going to be doing now, what is left for me, how am I going to kind of use myself in the right way, am I meaningful to the world around, right? And I think these questions are not only for 60 plus, but these questions linger even in the minds of young ones. And hence it's a session for all, but with a special focus for our beautiful elderly citizens. And for that, we have our dear expert, Dr. Zahra Ladak Merchant. A warm welcome, Dr. Merchant. And she is a health professional, a dental surgeon to be very specific, but she proceeded further to complete her studies with respect to Master of Public Health from John Hopkins University. She completed her research at the Harvard affiliated hospitals, and recently has completed an intensive program in gerontology, TIS Mumbai. She is currently the co-founder of Unnumber. A warm welcome, Dr. Zahra, and I guess now the platform is all yours. You can take it up from here.
Wow, thank you. Firstly, commendable the non-stop interventions that you and your team are bringing out. It's just very heartening and inspiring to sort of just see how it has come over the last 6 months that I have known. So I think that's inspiring, and also the fact that you've chosen the topic of addressing grandparents or addressing uh, older years of life and calling out what it is, that it's not only for the 60 plus, but it cuts across all generations. And that's precisely what, right? So unnumber means there is no number. Age is not defined by the number, and there are so many other parameters to this. And on that note, I would want to now I know you've put me on the spotlight now, and I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to be there. Lekin, what I want to also say that I am not the one who will be talking all through. I would want the audience to participate. I know many of you were gracious and filled in the form, the survey that we were doing, not survey, but sort of just to get a sense check of what the audience is like and what the audience is thinking. So thank you for filling the form. Um, so um, just a few things to clarify. Is English okay, or a mix of English and Hindi? If I can get a thumbs up for a mix of English Hindi, that would be good. You can use the chat, you can use the video, thank you. You can use the, yes, reactions nahi hai. Okay, great. So we'll do a mix of it. Excellent, what a blast. Great. On that note, मैं थोड़ा और questions पूछती हूँ. So when we say older adults, what comes to your mind? What do you think defines older adults? And if you put it in a message, you could just put it in the chat. Sorry, the chat, right? You could put it in the chat. What does it mean? What do older adults mean to you? 1-2 word answers bhi chalega. We'll build around it. Generally above 60 years. Yes, hopefully wisdom, experiences and wisdom. Many 60 pluses probably don't identify them as older adults and now 80. I think that's a very fair point, and we'll dwell a little bit on that. Yeah. Okay, great. So on that note, let me also ask you, you can continue here. Less responsibility, what fun. I don't know how much fun it will be, लेकिन हाँ ठीक है, वो भी बात करेंगे. Apprehension of ageist mindset. Thank you, RG. Ageist mindset. So very soon, I think on the 9th of October is also World sort of ageism awareness. That there is this sense of ageist mindset, not only for the older age, but also towards a younger age, right? So I think that is an interesting concept that hopefully we will be able to speak a little bit more about today. All right. So now let me ask the next question, जो मेरे दिमाग में है कि what do you think is the average lifespan in India as of today? Average. Of course, no one knows किसकी जिंदगी किसकी line कितनी है. Okay, no googling here. Huh? Okay. Wow. 8th, 9th decade is assured. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. So to be precise, 72 is the number that is given as of today. And I think everyone is on that mark, pretty much in that range or beyond. So that's great. Now, if I ask you that 50 years back, what was the life expectancy in India? 50 saal pehle, around 1970s, mid 1970s, what was the life expectancy in India, you think? Okay. Yes. 52 was a life expectancy about 50 years back. And about 70 years back, it was 35 or 36. So we've seen what this tells us is key. Clearly, the life expectancy is increasing. As of 2025, is expected to touch 80 by the end of the century. So by the time the next generation is there, it will easily touch 80, and that's the average, right? So average is a distribution plus minus 20, मतलब कि तुम्हारा socio-economic status क्या है, access to healthcare, access to finances, all of that will determine how long one lives. So, okay, thanks. Enough gyan on that. Okay. So now I will, yeah, so on that note, I also want to say that the rate at which lifespan is increasing in India, the rate, not the age, but the rate is much higher than that of China and US. तो हम आज की एज की तो बात कर रहे हैं, but and that may not be more than US and China, but the rate at which we are increasing is much higher. And well, longer lives, वो कहते हैं ना कि जुग जुग जियो is a blessing that is given, right? And it's actually coming true for our generation. So it's a blessing. It's one of the biggest achievements of technology, of medical sciences. And how can we make sure that we can reap the benefits of this achievement? वो हम बात करेंगे, because it clearly affects not us, each of us as individuals, but also us as a collective, as a society, how we are there for each other and how we are moving towards the longer lives. On that note, I shall get into some of the slides. Give me a second. I hope this works. Picture दिख रही है सबको? Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. All right. So this is where we are. And what we were talking about is कैसे population बढ़ रहा है. Now I know ये थोड़ा technical लगेगा, a little bit of math here, but we've spoken about that the World Health Organization defines that a country is aging agar 70% of its people are above the age of 65. In India, we are already 10%. 10% of our population is above the age of 65 already. However, because our younger population is also a lot, we are still a young country. लेकिन clearly जैसे हम देखते हैं हमारे society में around us in our interactions, we clearly see a sort of the proportion of older adults, of those 60 plus, that is increasing. Now they may not look old. Nobody here looks a day above 50. So we are very good at masking that, or maybe the entire definition of 60, 65 has changed. And that is something to think about. What was defined as 60, 65 as a senior citizen about 30, 40 years back, is that really a good transition point? And then again, it is a transition point, right? It's not overnight that, oh, now we are seniors. So what is that transition looking like? What does it really mean? Sorry, I'm sort of jumping the train. So India is already 10% of its population is 65 plus. Why is that so? Because medical sciences today will cure diseases, will allow us to live with diseases. So lifespans are longer. Yeah, and birth rate is reducing. Matlab ki replacement rate, if a couple have at least 2 children, then there is a replacement of population. But today, clearly, as we see around, the replacement rate is less than 2. But then again, longer life is one of the biggest blessings of our century. The question is, how can we add purpose, meaning, and connection to these years? और हम कैसे ये अपना how can we in this multi-generational environment, right? कि youth भी है और seniors भी है, ये multi-generational environment में, how can we get the benefits of in our society? So here I'm going to ask for some audience responses. When we talk about, this is the LASI report. As you see, LASI is a longitudinal aging study of India. The only and one of the largest study of aging that has been done in India at this scale. Or uske reports were published some 5 years back, so it's pretty recent. It's pre-COVID, mind you, but it's the most recent one that we have. Now, I will throw a question to you. According to you, what percentage of people under 45 years? Yeah, so what percent of people under 45 are affected by chronic conditions? Give me a number in the chat. What percentage of people are affected? Okay. 20, 15. Under 45, how many are affected? Yeah. Okay, 40. And how many? All right, now I'm asking you another question. So let's move to what percentage of people above 65 are affected by chronic conditions? What percentage of people above 65 are affected by chronic health conditions? Okay. Thanks everyone for your responses and the numbers that you're sharing. Great. So here are the numbers that I want to share with you. So approximately 28% of those less than 45 are affected, and about 14% of those who are above 65. So chronic diseases are more in the younger age groups and less in the older age groups. So the older age groups are living with it or managing it. Yeah, of course, rural urban divide hai, but these are the statistics that came out of the one of the biggest survey that was conducted by the government. Yeah, is everyone with me? So my next question is on mental health, right? Now we often think that mental health issues तो आते हैं seniors में आ जाते हैं mental health issues as you get older, forgetfulness है. So some of those symptoms are there, but we are talking about real depression and other mental health issues. How many do you feel are affected? What percentage of people are affected who have depression, etc., in the 65 plus age group? If I can get a number, please. 25%. Thank you, Lekha. Anumati. Any other guesses? 20, Vaishali.
I've got a query when you finish this with regard to mental health.
Okay. We'll get to that. All right. So 8%. All right. Kishore, thank you. That's the sahi jawab. So it is 8%. Contrary to what people think, 20, 25, 30, we often think a lot of people are affected, but major depression amongst the 65 plus age group is at 8%, much less than what we imagine. Overall, our people are doing better than what we imagine it to be. Yeah. And I'll go to the last one, functional health, Lekha, and then maybe open it up for some questions. So overall, people are doing better than what we imagine it to be. Yes, there are issues. Yes, functional with age, the body's capacity for physical adaptive response slows down. It does slow down, but that is only one of the things that happens. It is not all doom and gloom, and there is space, there is opportunity to flourish, and this is what we talk about in terms of functional health. In functional health, elderly people above 65 years of age, about 27% are underweight, and there are those that are obese and overweight. So there's a dual burden of malnutrition in that sense. So there are ways functional and nutrition health is affected, and there are ways that things that need to be addressed. But mota, I think the picture is much brighter than what we otherwise think of it to be. Yes, Lekha ma'am, would you want to?
Yeah, hi,
Sure.
Dr. Zahra. With regard to this mental health that you have statistics, I don't know, I somehow had a feeling that 8% might not be the right figure because it all depends on how the survey was taken, because mental health is something which many people hide. They don't, you get figures when people come out for treatment, or if there are incidents where you know about it. But what happens to all the statistics about people who have the families not agreeable to take them for treatment? just kept them at home. There are many instances like that.
Absolutely.
I'm not disputing this, but I'm just saying it could be because other conditions, people are not bothered. They'll take you to the hospital even if you require it or not. But in our country, still, it's a stigma to say that, oh, my family, so and so has got mental health issues and all that. And they
True.
try to do all sorts of alternate therapies and
Very
pujas
true.
and all that.
Very true. I agree with you in terms of mental health surveys are mostly self-reported. No matter what the age group, no matter what the profile, it will always be an underreporting. It
Yes.
will never give you the real, and I by that I will also put out a disclaimer that even the chronic conditions are underreported, because unless you go check it, you won't be diagnosed. So yes, I think that's one of the drawbacks of a survey versus a testing and a screening. However, these are, so if there is a major mental health disorder, it will be obvious and it will be reported. So in that sense, I would go with this, but totally agree on your point, Ki. It will always be an underreporting. There will be several other minor issues, or sort of more manageable, more copable issues that will be that do ail every population, right from the kids to adolescents to middle aged to older adults, all of them. I agree with you. And it's a huge taboo. Yes, there is less awareness about mental health, about its symptoms, about care seeking, going to a psychiatrist, let alone going to a psychiatrist. Even the ratio of the psychiatrist provider to the people or to the need is, there's a huge stark not just a gap, but extremely underserved area. So I'm with you on that. Yeah. So that point taken.
Thank you.
Major depressive disorders, what we think about, oh my god, like depression ho jayega, Alzheimer's ho jayega. And I agree what Miss Sailesh sir said a couple of days back. There are it's a difficult state to be. It's quite challenging, it's quite scary to forget what one has always known. So there is no discounting that. However, the percentage of people who are severely affected is far less than is what we make out to be. And that's across all of this. In fact, so on that note, one of the longevity physicians, Dr. Marcus Rane, what he said, and I will read it out ad verbatim. So he's a longevity physician. That when most people come to him asking about longevity, they're not really asking how many years I'm going to live. What they are asking is, what does it take so that I wake up without pain? What is it to think clearly? What is it so that I have energy all day through? And that I can continue to do the things that I want to, whether it's sports or dancing or playing with the grandkids and all of that, right? So so it's not so much, and which is why, sort of, while health of course is the mainstay of my training and my work, health has little value in itself unless it actually contributes to the quality of life and enables us to do the things that we want to do. And therefore, life and years, age is not just demography, but it really is a roadmap for the journey ahead, for the more dynamic journey ahead. um, and moving on, we underestimate the capacity of not just the older people in our society, but also our later years, right? So, what clearly, age has its role, but as we spoke, it is more than just a number. And a 60-year-old versus an 80-year-old may look the same, but what's the functionality? How much are they able to pursue the interests and the aspirations that they have? Again, so 270, 75-year-olds may look very different because there are so many other parameters and not just the number. So my urge to the group here is, let's look beyond the number into what aging truly is. Um, and there are stereotypes in aging, right? And someone did mention about the ageist perspective that we have, and oftentimes one of the first qualifiers that, how we describe ourselves or people describe each other is with age, that that old man or that white haired woman or that gray haired man or that, so invariably we have, it's ingrained in us. It may not be out of spite and about it may not be out of being rude, but I think probably this is an opportunity to relearn how we sort of frame aging and how we stereotype aging, and uh, probably just become more informed about this. um, Again, so it's interesting that while we were studying, अब ये थोड़ा interesting discussion हो रहा है कि teenagers is a construct which about 100 years back didn't exist, because people would finish their school and get into apprenticeship. There was no such thing as adolescence. It is a social construct that has been made. The baby boomers, the pensioners, is a term that came up because demography was moving that way. Midlife crisis is the term that came up. So it's not a biological thing to age. Aging starts from the day we are born. So getting old happens from the day a new baby will be 1 day old, right? So old to hai, aging to hai, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is beyond us. But there are several aspects that we can control. Moving on. So we know that as lifespan increases, what does one do with our time and skills? And how do we plan so that we don't outlive our health and our resources? Matlab, if our life expectancy is at least 72 years today, and given our socioeconomic parameters will touch 80, how do we plan so that we have enough good health, good financial resources, good social resources, which will serve us well in the 8th and 9th decade of our lives? And we got some very interesting responses on the survey as well. And I hope some of you are here to help us dwell a little deeper into it. This is what we believe. So at our number, while we are not talking about the number, right, we're talking about a more holistic approach to successfully transition into the later years of life. Or these are the 6 aspects, 6 dimensions that we talk about. And at this point, I'm going to open up for some more chat responses. Yeah. So when we talk about, these are the 6 aspects: physical health, mental health, financial well-being, physical well-being, mental well-being, financial well-being, social well-being, interpersonal well-being, and a sense of purpose. And we can debate about what is the order and what is more important versus not. And that's debatable, and we can have that conversation thoda differently. My urge to you is, let's dwell a little deeper into it. Shall we? All those 4 at least give me a thumbs up, either on chat or reaction or video. I need to know that everyone's with me. Okay. Okay. Few of you, yes. All right. So now, as we move on, we look at the first one, physical well-being. So what does physical well-being mean to you? Yeah. What does, when we talk about health, and remember it's not only health, it's being well physically. What does it mean to you? If you can put some thoughts in the chat, or even if you want to unmute and speak for a bit, I'm okay with that. Would that be okay if we can unmute and speak?
I think that would be fabulous, because sometimes chat is a constraint. So whatever you all prefer, you all can use the chat. Some of you all can start unmuting and talking as well, one by one, obviously. So please.
Yeah, we are a small group, so let's make it more interactive. Great, thanks.
Okay. When we say physical well-being, what I think, I'm saying from my perspective, it's from head to toe, mental, physical, and all this, like if it's, I'll be quick, if it's like post-retirement or post a particular age, and you're going to be, you first think if your money is safe, like if you think you have your financial well, like if your money, old people, main thing is, have we got enough money till we pass? So when that is done, when we are safe mentally, yes, we have the money, we have saved, and we can live a normal life, we can go on vacations if we can and all that. Then the physical well-being automatically becomes good because one in the background it's there, we are financially safe. So you're happy. Happiness brings in a lot of positive thoughts and a lot of gratitude. So, from my perspective, when you retire, if we have the money in hand kept for our retirement, our physical well being, mental well being is taken care of. And obviously, we will socialize and we'll have our children and family members coming and visiting us. And we have a purpose to go forward. I'm just
Yes, you
my
actually
thoughts.
brought it all together, and thank you, because it is so. While we say these are the six aspects, it is for us to sort of dwell a little deeper, but it all comes together and so interconnected, right? They really
Yes,
mesh with
yes.
each other, exactly as you said. Physical well being by itself will allow us to sort of also be financially stable and vice versa. But then again, having financial stability and not being able to um, have a social circle or social compatibility, that so I think all of these sort of come together.
That's why I
uh,
mentioned it's all interconnected.
Very true.
Just because you have put it at a levels like this, I think so people shouldn't be stuck with pehle it should be physical, baad mein mental, baad mein thing. No,
Right.
I feel it should all be like you put arrows like this. Everything is interconnected.
So true.
So
And so,
yeah,
yeah, and when we talk about physical per se, it's not simply the absence of disease.
yes,
Yes, the disease status
yes,
matters,
and
but also how one is able to access healthcare and deal with it in terms of physical fitness. Today, the onset of disease is much sooner than what it used to be 50 years back. But being able to manage it, being able to continue to function despite it, and being able to maintain cognitive health alongside. So, oftentimes we think of health, of physical well-being as, oh, I have all these diseases, now I am doomed. But there is so much more, so many other aspects to sort of be able to keep it afloat. And while I'm with you, Lekha, that it is it's not looking at it in isolation, and hopefully the whole sort of collage will come in a few minutes. This is what we say, physical well-being. And yes, I think in the chat also many of you have shared that Smita did mention financially when there is no tension, yes, but happy life where one is able to do what one wants to, and when yeah, independently without being a burden to others, being able to do one's own things. Thank you guys for your response. And moving on, what does mental health mean? And yes, these again both are very, very closely connected, but because mental health today is, we wouldn't talk about it 10 years back, we would brush it off. But today, thankfully, there is a platform, there is a conversation that can be had at more openly. So let's understand what mental health is, because it can clearly psychosocial. And give me your responses. um Physical and mental health are so interconnected. Your spouse is with you at all times and there is no issue. Yeah, actually my spouse is on the chat on this call right now, so I don't know about that, but
So
that's
yeah,
a good
well,
point,
welcome
Smita.
Farad onto the meeting. It's nice to have you, Farad.
Yeah.
I think for this, let's take a male perspective on mental well-being so that we
yeah.
understand from different perspectives how and yeah, if anyone like I can see some names, Ramanjeet or Kishore, Ganesh, any of you all would like to share perspective on the mental well-being part of it. If you all could just unmute and share it, if possible, will be nice.
I think mental well-being, what it means to me is not different for people in the category of senior citizens or non-senior citizens. I think it basically would mean life is going to be situations, many pleasant, joyous, hopefully also some setbacks and disappointments and frustrations, or even some sadness-inducing, tragic events or whatever it is. So, but that's what life is. So, facing any situation as a resilient
Yeah.
positive human being would, whatever that conception is for each of us. I think that is what, and the culture and the stories and from past or current, give us some idea of what it is to categorize something as a well-being versus illness. So
Yeah.
that's what I would call as mental well-being. That means I face something, then I do something which most people would say, yeah, it's human, it's fine. Maybe he's crying or maybe he's yelling, but he's going to calm down and then come back and look at some positive or whatever it is. Yeah, something like that.
Right. No, Ganesh, thanks. And I think the point that you brought up is that it is not specifically for the 60 pluses. It cuts across all age groups. And so true. And what we are discussing here is aging, which starts from day one. So whether one is 6 or 16 or 66, it sort of runs across. So that's the one point. The other is, yeah, so there are two aspects, right? Even when it comes to physical health, we said one is your disease status, but if even if one is devoid of all diseases, there are risk factors that one is always exposed to. And what is one's ability, the body's ability, the mind's ability to deal with those risk factors and cope or be resilient, like you said. So like a common example that we talk in our and we often talk about is getting a twisted ankle is one thing which probably can be healed at home. A 6-year-old will recover much faster than a a 45, 50-year-old or an 80-year-old. So a twisted ankle hota hai, sabko hota hai. It's not wrong. It's not a disease. One's ability to heal varies, and of course with age. But if there is a fracture, it needs to be attended to by a specialist. If even if a sprain, if a moch is not attended to, or like a remedy is not appropriate, it can cause other complications. So some things that may seemingly be like regular stressors of life, one may be able to cope with it today, but if they continue to pile, then it sort of becomes more complex and more serious than otherwise. And that's when more intervention is required. And on that note, yes, and Kishore clearly said that mental health is managing your daily stressors. Yes, so that is basic mental well-being. That I might have a stressful day at work, I might lose a loved one, I might lose a job, I might different the ups and downs of life's graph will continue. But how does one regulate their emotions? How do we process our thoughts? And what is our attitude, how much we understand mental health, right? What is our attitude and willingness towards either treatment or seeking help? And of course, like you rightly mentioned, coping and resilience that one builds in, and which is why there's so much conversation today on being able to be resilient. It's like having a muscle, right? Ki agar, if one does your regular physiotherapy and exercises, a 6-hour trek will not show. But someone who is probably does not have as much muscle, the 6-hour trek or a long day at work will begin to have far greater effects. Are you with me? Some sign, some thumbs up, some heart, something, if I can see. Okay. Great. Moving on. Again, so the collage is coming together. Mental health cannot function in isolation. If there is financial stress, mental stress ho hi jayega, right? So moving on. What does financial well-being mean to us? Is there a number? Is it a percentage? And maybe one of someone from the audience can speak and express themselves, and others can use a chat.
People can also speak in Hindi. Financial well-being आपके लिए क्या है? ये particular
हाँ,
है.
yeah. और
Any language that is comfortable to you. That's it.
फॉर्म में भी काफी जवाब आए that what does retirement mean? Retirement means के pension plan होना चाहिए. So I'm sure everyone has that in their minds, and everyone believes that in or works on it in different ways, right? level of need and
Financial,
satisfaction. Sorry,
so
yes.
financial well-being essentially means how much based on, see, it varies from individual to individual based on their lifestyle that they're used to. So based on that, you kind of first decide, like, how many, decide in the sense, have a rough uh, lifespan for yourself, a number, in an age, and then you see what you are spending right now, add some, inflation, and then, so it's not a number. The number varies from person to person. It's basically that you maintain your current lifestyle and you're not really dipping down on the essentials. So that much you have to provide for. And of course, the medical you take care of, either you take your medical insurance, you have it in your hand, and also provide well for your medical. So that according to me is financial well-being.
That sounds like a financial planner speaking. Thank you, Bhanumati. You've covered so many aspects and also from the chat, right? So how does one manage needs and wants? Exactly that. That how does one manage your savings, income, and spending? And it's a good debate to have, and maybe we can keep it for another day as well, that whether one decides on the spending first or the saving first, right? So income to our income is fixed, so saving and spending are the two variables, and how does one go about it? I'm sure Bhanuvati and many others will have an opinion on that. Yeah, Manjula, medical expenses are a concern, health insurance. So the Gates Foundation's report says that the number one reason for a family to get into poverty is a health crisis. So health insurance is not a health product, but it's a financial product as a buffer, as a safety net to maintain financial well-being, so to say. Debt planning, so again, um, we've seen, planning finances. Yes, I'm no expert, but planning for finances, debt, will, and estate. What does one do? We've worked all through our lives to create this whole wealth and create the empire that you might have. How does one plan for it once we are gone? So this is what sort of all comes under the financial piece. Gracie, accepting life as it comes and facing, helps mental balance. True. So mental balance, financial balance is often also depending on the current season, if I may. Sometimes we might be hit with a more demand on finances or more demand on one's emotional capacities. And how is one able to maintain that balance or recover from that hit? Thanks for sharing, Gracie. In the interest of time, I'll sort of run a little bit quickly, because physical, mental and financial well-being we फिर भी talk about, ज़्यादातर वो बात होता है, लेकिन ये जो दूसरे तीन है ना, often we don't speak about it as much, and it has such a huge impact on the longer lives that we are sort of having ahead of us. So what does social well-being mean? आप बताओ, social. Now this is not social media. This is not how many friends and likes that we get. Lekin, what does social well-being mean to us? Connecting with relatives and friends and enjoying life. Yes, Kishore. Such an important, that's what we live for, right? It's not an important part, it's really what we live for, to be able to connect with friends and build relationships. Yeah. Yep. Close family members. And also think about how the social well-being changes or what affects it over the years. Think about that. So while socially, our social network when we are in school and college is different, how we connect with our peers. At workplace, we have a social belongingness. And what after that? So what I mean is, what is our social adaptability? Social contacts, no more social contacts once after work, right? So it's very hard to make new friends after we leave college. Our professional circle becomes our friends by default or becomes our life, but there is so much more to it. What after one retires? do they remain professional friends? Some of them may become friends beyond the profession. Some may remain acquaintances and colleagues. What does that mean to us? And that's something for us to think about as we sort of find our balance between the two. Some people yeah, so after retirement there is a void, and that's a very real void that people feel, right? That who are our people, and how do we who are the people we belong to? Where do I belong? Where do I connect with? What is the quality of my relationships and interactions, not just in terms of who I go for coffee with and who I go watch a movie with, but how do I truly connect with them? The other big thing which hits all ages, not only seniors, like, and as RG pointed out, what is the sense of loneliness? It across all ages, right? Sense of loneliness, and not only whether I'm lonely or not, but do I feel lonely? मेरा perception क्या है? मेरे दिमाग में मुझे क्या लगता है कि मैं कितना lonely हूँ, कितनी अकेली हूँ? So that matters. And yeah, so Gracie, relationship with all we meet in day to day affects our lives, and try to belong to a community. Bhanumati, exactly. And what is the sense of, so social adaptability really means what? Ability to make a new friend. So if you can help me, if you can put it in the chat, that when was the last time that you had a new friend, that you made a new friend? Most of our friendships are from college, school, maybe some workplaces. If you could share me on the chat, या फिर आप
That's a fantastic question. It will put many people to think.
So my next question is,
Acquaintance meeting is different. When are you making a friend or something? That I want to see, because I haven't made any new friends in the past 6, 8. No, I can't say 1 year or something.
yeah,
I shifted house, so there's no, just the people around are the new people. We can't call them friends.
yeah, and anyone in need, Gracie. So anyone in need is a friend. So there are some friends that are needed, and some friends that you can hang out with without a care. So your friends from college will always be, or college, school, different part of your lives will always have a different meaning than neighbors who become friends, or other moms and from school from the kids who become friends. It's a very different equation. So my real question is not when did you last make a friend, but let's think about what does it take to make a new connection at whatever age and stage we may be. Kids पूछते हैं, will you be my friend, will you play with me? You and I will not ask that. It's inappropriate. But how else do we connect? How else do we make friends? And that's something for us to think about. So this is, so we don't have a blueprint for how to manage the longer years. But these are some of the questions and some of the thoughts that have been under discussion in terms of what can be the levers of successful aging. What are the levers what are the parameters that will ensure a more fulfilling, a more purposeful life ahead of us? Yes, the going on treks, going on outing. So it will really mean that we go out of our comfort zone, really push ourselves to make that new acquaintance who can possibly then turn into a friend, who then of course life will throw us challenges, and then we figure out कि सचमुच का friend है कि सिर्फ बोलने के वास्ते, right? We get invited on occasions, true. Okay, 3 a.m. friend circle. Okay. Yeah, now also different time zones, right? So what is 3 a.m. for me, maybe 3 p.m. on the other side of the world, and people may be willing to talk, but yeah, why not? So this is something to think about. It's not so much the answer that we want today, but what does it mean for us and as we live ahead. Moving on, we are a small group. Some of you have been super active in conversations and sharing, and I would encourage the others also in the last few minutes that we have to be able to share your thoughts. Interpersonal well-being. So social well-being is a larger social network be it treks, be it hobbies. And then there are interpersonal well-being, which is a one-on-one in between two people. What does that mean? And we certainly don't talk about it. Thoughts? You're talking about one-on-one connectedness and intimate and close relations. What do you mean by intimate and close relations? Your 3 a.m. friend could be an intimate relation. It need not be sexual. It could, it could be your sibling. It could be, you know what? As we live longer, while the life expectancy has increased, along the way we do lose, whether it is a loved one, a spouse, a sibling, some friends. We may lose some of them along the way, which is why it is even more critical to be able to create newer relationships to thrive. Yeah. And one-on-one. We don't talk about the importance of close, deep connections enough, but that is really what sort of builds that internal security for many of us. Um, and then also, I want to touch upon this, which may be a little bit of a cringy topic. While I'm saying you need friends or connections and friends who are not old friends who you can share anything with, and could be completely platonic. We don't often talk about the need for even a sexual or a more um, partnership in the later years. um, and um, and I think it's normal. It's a physiological urge to be recognized, to be validated, and we underestimate the value and the price of a personal relationship. So if you agree that it becomes more and more difficult to build this, you can probably put a yes or a no, Y or an N in your chat.
Can I just, when you spoke about the sexual part, it's a biological need. There is nothing wrong in having sexual urges at X age, Y age, and all that. But we over here have a mindset that retired people cannot have sex, shouldn't have sex. Parents put them in separate rooms. Why do they have to stay? I have seen it with my own eyes. Why do you have to put them in the same bedroom? They can adjust. Put father there, put mother here. Nobody understands that it's an emotional connection. It's your spouse that has been with you for so many years. What's wrong in having sexual urges at that age? I think so. We should teach people that just because you're a senior, just because you're a grandparent, does not mean that your biological needs, like all the other biological needs, sexual thing is also, it's because the word sex is a taboo, a bad word from childhood is what we have been taught, Dr. Zahra.
So
I
true.
think so. You should also be part of this movement where to make people understand that seniors also have needs. Even though the parents are not having sex, they need to hug each other and sleep. They need that. It's their sole companion.
True.
But there are many people who separate them and they get upset. Why? In this old age, you still want to have sex?
Yeah, and
Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Because I have heard all this. So it's a good platform for me to tell you that, it's not right.
true. I'm glad you brought that up, Lekha ma'am. And I think that's one of the reasons for elder abuse as well.
Yes.
Sort of not being able to recognize their needs and their rights and I think rights and needs, of course, and that is what makes one sort of more physically, mentally, emotionally comfortable also. So yeah, so whether they are spouses or whether it is a widower or unmarried, and being able to find companionship at that age is often undervalued, but it probably holds true at 60 as much as it holds true at 25, 30, or whatever the age be. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So one-on-one connectedness and intimate and close relationships. Yeah, we don't talk enough about it. And I think there needs to be a more open conversation. Given India's population, we know sex cannot be a taboo word, but that is what it is. And the last but not the least, and oftentimes I've been told कि ये तो पहले जाना चाहिए, sense of purpose तो सबसे ऊपर आना चाहिए. But you tell me, what is sense of purpose? You can put it in the chat, you can unmute and say. One thing that really nags me is, when we were in college, school, and you have to figure ki life mein kya karoge. So there are aptitude tests and there are career counselors and whatnot to help you figure out what your next chapter is going to be like. These are life transitions also, whether it is midlife at 40, 45, whether it is 60, 65.
Definitely.
So yeah, so how does one repurpose themselves? Bharti, are you unmuted? You want to share something? Go on. All right. Anyone who wants to share on this? Ganesh, being part. Yes, looking forward to waking up and living the day. Yes, on a day-to-day basis. It could be something meaningful in a longer period of time as well. Yeah. There have also been some who have retired and say, "Bas, now we'll only retire. Now don't expect us to do anything of meaning and purpose." And that is also fine. I think that is also all right. But as long as the individual gets to decide and the individual is able to pursue as much or as little as he or she wants to. Yes. Any thoughts? Someone to share? This is the very last point. Side hustling. I like that. Yeah. So they say that one can change their careers every couple of decades. And just imagine if we are going to be living into a eighth and ninth decade, there is so much more opportunity to change, to sort of be able to pursue more, to be able to do more. And I think that's where this piece can lead us, right? How do we use our time? What does growth mean in terms of our identity? What does growth means in terms through the transitions that we go through? And the 50, 60, the fifth and sixth decade of life is really a time of transitions, be it um, physical, hormonal health, be it in terms of kids growing up, be in terms of parents and siblings and, moving and work profiles. So through all of these transitions, and of course in the later years, and again, RJ, coming back to your point, this is not relevant only for those who are 60 plus, but also at 30, 35. And really it is our this age group, it's our generation that is really going to be, when India's aging population is going to be comprise 20%. By 2050, 20% of India's population is going to be 65 plus. That is 1 in every 5, and we are going to be part of that boom, if I may. So what is our sense of purpose then? How do we continue to use our talent, skills, and experience? It could be for livelihood. It could be simply associating with professional fields. Could be a hobby, and I think that also came in at some point of time. Yeah. And all of this sort of coming together to the point, Lekha ma'am, you made at the start. Like, these cannot work in silos. We cannot sort of really tease them apart, but they are really so interconnected that the whole sort of collage comes together for us to be able to say that this is what our life can look like. Yes, now of course, I may ask you, how would you rate it, right? How would you rate these different aspects, where you are today and where you want to be? And we could probably, in the interest of time, let's move forward. We need to have something to do in our time. I think constructive use of time, when I was working with the youth, adolescents, there was always this: how do you keep the youth busy and out of trouble? And I think that's true for all ages. It's true for me. It's true for me on a Sunday morning. It's true for all of us, no matter what age and life stage we may be. So I think we always think about how will my health be affected when I'm 60 plus or 80 plus? How are my finances going to shape up when I'm 70 plus? What is my social circle going to be? So the one way of looking at it is that what is the impact of my longer life on health or finances or purpose and all of that, right? And I think most of us look at it this way. And my submission to this group is, if we can look at it from a different lens, agar hum ye soche, like just flip it on its head, and let's look at what is the impact of health and finances and purpose on a longer life. So what can I do today? I know many of you, even who are in your 60 and 65 plus, clearly there are 2 decades of your life ahead of you. So what can we do today in terms of health, managing finance, building purpose, which can affect the longer lives? And I think that's the narrative that needs to be shifted, because jeene to wale hai, it is a blessing. It is a privilege to be able to live into those years. So how can we make things work in our favor? So one of the things that, again, so we talk about these 6 things. Where am I today? So if I urge each of you to sort of just put 2 numbers, right? Where am I today on a scale of 1 to 10? In terms of, for example, if you want to do, let's do social well-being. Yeah, where am I today? Let's put a number from 1 to 10. 10 being great. I'm in a great place in terms of social compatibility, social aspects, and that's 10. And 1 is where I just have no friends and complete isolation. So let's put that number followed by where I want to be. And if one of you, wants to unmute and speak about sort of what you feel about this, where you are and where you want to be, it could be social well-being, it could be any of the other 6 aspects. So please feel free ki aap share karo.
I want to share a couple of points.
Yes, Aji.
So, one is that social and interpersonal, they do feed off each other also, interpersonal specific ones. But, I think at home you need to, some people like, I feel sometimes, or I reflect on myself, I have reflected in the past, that you can't be a great friend and having family and connections elsewhere and then not have it with your main partner or family or child at home. So I think just like charity begins at home or whatever, I think good relationships or being a good person or a nice person to be with should start from home. Actually, it makes it much easier to then go out and chill with friends or whatever.
Yeah,
So that is
yeah.
one. The thing is that sense of purpose usually, it's like somebody is looking for something and things like that, or people feel constrained a lot due to family obligations. I feel women feel it much more socially conditioned, as well as the way society has not progressed enough, that women take on more burden of obligations and constraints than men in our society. But the point is that even if your circumstances are such that you perceive freedom, that means there are fewer constraints or no constraints or obligations. Some of your previous generation is no more, or whatever it is, right? Then those kind of care obligations are not there. That doesn't mean it's nirvana, in the sense when you have too much choice, then picking or committing to something, even that can be a challenge. That's something I just.
Yeah. So Ganesh, I'm glad you brought up one very important aspect that, of course, that the two are interconnected, but also caregiving responsibility, right? Simply being a carer for whether it's for kids or for the older generation or for any other ailing member in or around in the family, and more often than not, the responsibility lies with the woman of the house, and it's disproportionate in that sense. And so I think that. So the other aspect to think about is that if the parents will be 80, 90 plus, yeah, kids will be 60, 70, they will probably be seniors themselves, and many of us probably have experienced that in our homes or in our surroundings. So it is an unprecedented situation that we might be in. Yes, हम सुने हैं कि पहले तो लोग 100 साल जीते थे. Yes, but they also probably had joint families and much larger family, a support system, and which is why, sort of coming back to your point in terms of being social well-being, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village for an aging population as well. It is a collective effort. It cannot be an individual effort. I love this point about, sort of, as Goodfellows is doing, Shantanu is involved in sort of how the old and the young, sort of the both ends of demography, how they can be intergenerational interaction and learning and bonding. And we are living in multi-generational houses or multi-generational workplaces that we are working in. Maybe our universities and institutions are also going to be becoming multi-generational very soon, and I hope so. I hope sooner rather than later. So ye hona to hai hi. So how which is why I think, how do we make friends, our ability to, our agility to make friends, right? हम ज्यादा बैगेज भी कभी कैरी करते हैं as we grow older, that ये नहीं चलेगा, like we are set in our minds and we are set in our preferences, which is why a fair bit of unlearning may do us good in some sense. Of course, experience helps. So sort of there is this sweet spot between having the experience and having no baggage. So that, and yes, having a structure, right? RG, as you said, too much liberty, freedom, lack of a routine might also throw someone off their sense of purpose and aspirations. Yeah, but this is an exercise that I would invite each of you to do. You can take a screenshot and stay with this, and or we can probably circulate this at a later date. We can do that. Yeah, and on that note, yeah. So while it may seem, at every age, it may seem, oh my God, my life is turning upside down. But as Rumi said, how do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? So let's face the future with open arms, with positivity. And I am bullish about the longer decades that we have. Like, there's absolutely, I think it's a wonderful time to live longer. I keep hearing that the years of being young may not be the best years of our life. Maybe the best is yet to come, and it's inspiring to get older. So on that note, I wrap up and open to any more questions, discussions there are on the group. Yeah, so I'll stop sharing at this point of time, and Hazel, over to you to sort of facilitate the conversation for us.
I'll before we kind of open the platform for further conversation, I think it was a pretty deep movement of almost an hour that you took us through, and just taking all a little backstory of why we started with the sessions for the elderly as a part of Equitable Parenting Council was largely because the elderly are the most foundational pillars of a family. Even till date, even if we speak to young parents, moms, dad, they will always say, my mom did that to me, my dad did that to me. So until date, they revere and have a huge respect towards what each of y'all have done in their life, and they try to role model it. It may be right practice or wrong practice, that's another story altogether. But yes, that is. And in the past couple of sessions that we have been doing for the elderly, I've seen a blend of men and women both attending the sessions. Whereas from the past 2 years, like almost 80, 90 sessions that we have done, not more than 5 or 10% were men in the sessions. Not more than 5 or 10% fathers were attending the session. So again, it's a thing that for us to kind of understand, maybe just bring further into into the light of, as a society, like as I think RG mentioned, charity begins at home. And when we see inequity happening at home itself, right? Then towards the latter part of our life, how can we expect equity in other forms, in other areas? Because throughout the life, we have been following a quite a innumerable ways of inequity, ways of handling things, handling situations at home, handling a spousal relationship, handling uh, spouse parent child relationship. Then how are we kind of getting into uh, this kind of conversation? And my second, so that is something that I will really suggest all of y'all are still the pillars of a family. Y'all may not be there in the four uh, this corners, but your one word of telling your child, be it a daughter or son, that yes, please do attend sessions related to parenting, related to self. Uh, and it should not be a one-sided or one lopsided thing where only the mothers largely attend the session, right? That's when we bring in we bring in the well-being of the child. And when the child's well-being is sorted, obviously the parents is the high priority, but when the parent is sorted, the child's well-being is automatically in sync. And so when parent and child's well-being is in sync in all perspectives, be it physical, be it mental, be it emotional, social, there's a lot of harmony that happens at home, right? And today, if many of us are thinking that we are alone in this journey, or my child is not understanding my needs, the sexual, be it even the sexual needs, which is very important at any age. And age doesn't determine that, yes, I can have or I can't have, right? It's my life, it's what I need. But that happens only when from a younger day, from that formative days, we together come and bring about that nurturance, bring about that, yes, it's not one person's responsibility, it's together as a family that we need to be responsible for this. Like, so I will also, the second part is, if you have a spouse right now, is your spouse attending the session or no? Or are you single-handedly? We go for movies, we go together. When we go for dinners, celebrations, we go together. Then why not sessions like this, which will support at a much deeper level, and it's not a superficial level, right? If we can start having a spouse for whatever, I'm not saying invite them, obviously it will be, please do invite them for our sessions, but any session that y'all can go together and form much more deeper connections with each other, right? So I will really request each of y'all to take the step. And yes, we will be sending across videos of the sessions that we have been doing. If you could just help in circulating, I think y'all would help us to make the society much more stronger and much more valuable, and not be considered as a materialistic or a consumer focused thing that is there right now, right? That only if I get this, I'll have be in connection with you, right? So please do that. And now, yes, taking I know I just wanted to put this across because it was just playing in my mind that from the past 6 7 session, I'm seeing more than 40 50% males attending the session, the fathers attending the session. What magic is senior citizen doing in their lives that particular phase? But yes, we require younger dads to be there, and Farad had done a session on dad in particular. So please, let's get more and more dads being involved in, and the best will be both the spouses attending the sessions, regardless whatever age group you all are in, right? So now we're opening the platform for queries for further discourses, and yeah, we could take in, I think, 2 or 3 such conversations. Anyone, please unmute and yeah, do share it with us.
Just to add to your point, or to respond to your question or curiosity, why men are also attending? Maybe finally men are evolving a little bit. थोड़ा credit दे दो ना हमको भी.
पूरा क्रेडिट है, पूरा, इसीलिए तो खुशी के मारे अचानक क्या हुआ है। एंड मैं बोला, ये अगर ये एज ग्रुप में हो सकता तो पहले इसमें क्यों नहीं कर रहे? इसीलिए
See, when somebody is on a graph at the bottom, ना, the only way is up. तो men को evolve ही होना है.
नहीं नहीं, आप इवॉल्व करते करते ना हम सब वही चाहते कि एक दूसरे को भी लेके खींच के लेके आए इवॉल्व. So yes, absolutely. It's really nice to see more and more involvement in that sense. Yeah. So yeah, congratulations on the next thing. Yeah.
ACL, thank you
Yes, like that.
so much. Out of the 6 or 7 of yours, I've attended, except for one, except for the abuse part, where I didn't know about it, but I've been attending. And I'm I'm just genuinely saying, stay blessed always. Be like this, stay blessed always. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, Lekha has been attending like since the time she's connected with us, she has been attending. So try pulling in some more. It's great that you're attending. Try pulling in more. Like how Hema
To
pulled you.
all my, I've been sending it to everybody, but I've been
Yeah,
sending messages. It will help you all and please attend.
sure.
But then each
Thank you.
one to themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can just do our best. I think Dr. Manjula and I keep having huge discussions on why people are not attending, even though it's free, it's to the point, everything, even language is what we are focusing. It's online, anyone can attend from anywhere. Then why are parents not attending? If it was a financial session, if it was something else, there are people flocking into that sessions, right?
Well, put a TEDx, there'll be thousands.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on today's session? Yes, let's focus on today's session. Yeah. Any thoughts on today's session?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful session, Zara. You are touching upon something which is so fundamental, foundational to our entire life and living, but you did it with a light sounding, light touch, but actually with a lot of research and opened up with interaction. So I think it was fantastic, great job, and I think more sessions. I came to know for the first time because Farhad shared it in some groups, and immediately Bhanu and I just signed up. I mean, uh, and she also told me, and I what I felt, which is that even the survey form, it obviously helps you to gauge what people are thinking, but actually filling it itself was an experience. It was a good thing. It makes you pause and say, "Oh, what am I supposed to put here? What's your key thing, whatever." So it kind of prepared us to come to the session with expectations, which were all met and exceeded. And great job, Aziel, to anchor it and introduce. And looks like you've been doing this great job for a long time. We came to know only now, so we are happy to be on your mailing list or be informed. And we'll certainly inform others to also attend. Many people won't be aware that there are such initiatives happening. So I can assure you there will be people who are interested who will come along
Thank you
with
so
us.
much. I
Yeah,
think, yes,
yeah.
I've seen today many new uh, people who have joined, and I would really like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being a part of today's session. In the chat, I've added the link of a WhatsApp group. In case if you are not a part, please do just click on it and join, because there are many more sessions coming in from by the best of experts from different fields, because we are, as today's session that Dr. Zahra spoke about, holistic perspective, especially focusing on the uh, purpose, on the interpersonal relationships, social well-being, physical, financial well-being. We will be dwelling deeper into all of these aspects of it. Yeah, so thank you so much. Uh, I will request Dr. Manjula to say, yeah, to do the honors with the vote of thanks. She is, let me also introduce Dr. Manjula. Dr. Manjula is the National Council member, and she's actually a visiting professor at IIT Madras. So she is the youngest in our team in all sense. And the energy is at another level. We have started learning technological expertise from her. So you can imagine the level that she is. Requesting Dr. Manjula to take it forward from here.
Thank you, Azil. I don't know. I'm only 71, but I feel 17 at heart. And I think that is the lesson that I don't know. First of all, let me thank Dr. Zahra for the wonderful insight that we had. And what straight away occurred to me was, I think this session should be I wish my son and my daughter could say they are in their 50s, 45s. They are getting to where I am now. I don't know. I hope they are as strong as we are right now. So, and what keeps us going is all the things that you suggested. So probably they need a little insight on that, so that they are ready. See, we don't become 71 one fine day, one morning you get up and find, oh yeah, I'm 70 now. What do I do? No, we are slowly. We have to prepare. We'll get there. We are all getting there. I'm there already. You guys will be there soon. So I think it's better if it would be a good idea to have such a, what, preparation kind of session for the others. And thanks for all the men who joined, like Azil. It's really nice. And like Ganesh said, Ganesh and Banu and I decided to join. That's wonderful. See, when a family decides to join, that is how the changes happen. It's really beautiful. Thank you, Ganesh and Banu, for being there. And thank you for all the men who are there and everything. And I think we all have to realize that age doesn't matter. See, as long as you are happy with yourself, I think we all have to prepare for that happiness. We outsource our happiness to others. मेरा बच्चा मेरा ख्याल करेगा, मेरा children, or some, when I retire, I have no purpose in life. See, you can be retired, but you don't have to be tired. There are happily retired people, and I don't want to be retired at all. I have a husband who is retired but not tired, and he's so happily retired because he has served for so long. He's having a cool life. So, we have struck a balance now. So we should understand what exactly it is that we are want. See, we should think about it. Kal to aayega, jaldi aata hai, no? It doesn't come one fine day. It doesn't come with announcement. So one fine day, things might change. So for that one fine day, I think we all have to get ready, following all the valuable insight that Dr. Zahra shared with us. Thank you, Dr. Zahra, and thank you, Zeel, for organizing such wonderful things. And it was so nice to see so many people, new faces here for the first time. I hope you'll all continue to come back. We have such wonderful sessions, and I'm sure there's a lot to share with the world. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Manchula.
Stay young at heart. That's a secret. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can tell you how old you are. It all depends on how you feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Dr. Manchula. I have a request, though normally I don't do this, but since Farad is there, Farad, would you like to share something? Especially, obviously, Dr. Zahra is a health professional. It's an expertise. It's not a personal experience. Along with the personal experiences, she has studied. So she's qualified and she has the required experience for it. But as a spouse, how did you find today's session, and what's your thoughts on it? See, Zahra over there.
First, turn on the video.
Yeah, start your video.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Thank you, Arti.
I'm in no shape to turn on the video. I'm in a weekend mode. Okay. No, but I think a lot of these questions, she's experimented with me before she came to the group. So I've been the first learner of this session, and it's I think each time she speaks about it, I kind of get some additional insights. Like RG said, right? It's a lot to do with opening up our minds to the possibilities, and I think that's what this has done for me. We all look at some of these elements individually, independently, like the health aspects and the physical attributes and the financial. These three are more commonly looked at as we age, but the other three elements are something that are equally important. They actually form the crux of our lifelong journey, and somehow we don't give it as much importance. In fact, those are the triggers that actually allow us to take the decisions that take us where we want to go in life. So really, really useful to keep uh, keep deliberating on those, keep thinking about them, and to keep looking at what we can do about it, right? I think these are that's how I look at it. So thanks, Aziel, for this is the spousal support system.
Self-praising.
Why not?
No, no, absolutely. And thank you so much, Dr. Zahra. Once again, I think heartfelt thanks for the kind of support, the kind of expertise you shared, right from taking us from the basic knowledge of facts and okay, what's happening in the, what do we think and what's being reported. And yes, there's a long way to go, even in the reporting system, not only in this aspect, but all the surveys with respect to India. I think we do have a long journey on that end. But yes, helping us understand our perspective vis-a-vis what's happening in the society, and from there taking it to a quite deeper level of conversations with our own self and bouncing it in the group. Uh, and that one thing about okay, how many friends did you make new at this point was pretty striking. I think at this yeah. So that's really nice. I think do connect with yourself and also try to connect with one more person who at a deeper level you can have conversations with, who you can have a chai with, who you can see the Baki picture with of your life. Yeah. So, and thank you so much, Dr. Zahra, and God bless you for the amazing work that you're doing, and that you will be continuing with your own venture called Unnumber. So God bless you, and yeah, take care of yourself. And thank you all the participants. Thank you all the council members for joining in today. We will be sharing the recording pretty soon, maybe in a week's time. And there are quite a few more interesting sessions for your knowledge, for you to keep learning, keep growing, and keep enjoying. So take care of yourself. God bless. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend ahead.
Have a great
Thank you.
weekend,
Thanks for the
everybody.
opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ADL.
Zahra.
Stay blessed
Thank you,
always.
ADL. Thank you, Dr. Zahra, so much for putting this together for us. It was very nice of you. Not many would do this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Zahra. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zara. Thank you. It was amazing.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Azel.
Thank you, Krishna, for joining.